Yo, this big Spanish DJ Enuff of the world famous heavy hitters, and you're checking out Global Spin 365.
DJ Enuff.
Yes.
Thank you for talking to us.
No, thank you for having me.
Of course. First of all, I want to get right into it. Heavy hitters.
Right.
Doing big things.
Absolutely.
Camilo is officially the vice president. How
Yes.
did that even come about? Like, what was your thought process? Why were you like, let me just pull him on to this position? How did that happen?
I mean, to be honest with you, I think it's a position that Camilo was kind of already doing without even, I guess getting the notoriety of doing it.
Okay.
Camilo is actually the third member picked to be a heavy hitter, or actually, if you want to think about it, the first member to be picked, because the crew was created by me and DJ Threat.
Yes. Rest in
is
peace.
no longer with us, but and the story goes, it's a classic story, but it's nice that we have a place like this where we could tell this kind of story because DJs would appreciate it. Back then, when being honest and creating this heavy hitter movement, it was solely based on the fact that I couldn't be a Big Dog Pitbull. And Big Dog Pitbulls was created by Funkmaster Flex. Yes. And, he had his favorite DJs. And, 15 years later, Flex explained to me why. And he was honest and said that he saw me as a major threat. And
What?
Yeah. So it's love now because, he's my peer at work. But, coming up in the ranks, it's like, he wanted to keep me distant, because I was that dude, you know what I mean? So, right. and to be honest with you, I respect that because that's the ultimate, I guess honor. Is that the right word?
It's a compliment. I would take it as a compliment.
Yeah, I think it's it's definitely a great compliment.
Right.
So, with that being said, Threat, DJ Threat was kind of like, hey, why don't you just start your own thing? And I was like, I didn't even think about it at the time. I was like, all right.
Right.
And then we literally were like outside a gig somewhere in Midtown Manhattan off of Park Avenue. And I was doing an event and I was done. And then I remember the question was like, so then who are we going to put down? And then literally when the question was being asked to me, DJ Camilo is literally walking around the corner.
It was meant to be.
And then we saw him, and then we both looked at each other like, what about Camilo? Camilo's cool, but look at the criteria. He was cool. We didn't even say if he was like a great DJ. We didn't even say if he had like, how many nights on lock during the week. Was he on the radio?
Well, I know that's
did he have a mixtape?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that, it was just basically based on like him being a cool brother. And Heavy Hitters was born, and we were the trifecta. But to make a long story short, and to be honest with you, it was basically built as a brotherhood first. Like almost like I kind of stole the MO of like a fraternity. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of my friends, some are Kappas, some are Zetas, some are Qs, and
some Alphas.
And I'm looking at these brothers all throughout the years, doing college parties and always talking to them and like, so what's it like to be a Q? What's it like to be? And they would explain to me, whether they went through, some slight hazing to be down or all the hard work and dedication.
Now, wait a minute. Was there some hazing involved if you're trying to become a heavy hitter? Is there a little...
No hazing.
No hazing,
but definitely, we had to know each other to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? There had to be some sort of, thing that made it right for you to be down. And to be honest with you, it was always like we were always in search of, and we decided to be like, okay, let's. And when we started picking, it became exciting. People were like, yo, what is this thing you're doing? What is this heavy hitter thing? And initially off the rip, it's as an industry joke on the inside with my friends, they were like, oh, you got all these Spanish DJs. And I'm like, that's not true. We have other DJs. It's not just Spanish. It just happened to be, for us initially, yes, I am of Puerto Rican descent. Camilo's of Colombian descent. And DJ Threat was of Dominican / Irish descent. So that was kind of like the tale, and it had nothing to do with black or white. It's just what it was. But to be truly brutally honest, you know, during the era of this being created was almost like during the same exact time of the Latino boom, you know, with reggaeton music, with Latins just being popular in culture, you know, your Fat Joes, your Big Puns, your J-Los, your Mark Anthony's, your The Beat Nuts, you know, so many Latinos in hip hop and outside of the culture were just blowing up everywhere, from the movie screens to TV shows to, you know, endorsements. So it was like, wow, you know, it felt great to be a part of that.
Right.
But the groundbreaking thing for me was like, yeah, I'm Latino, but I'm on all these black formats, and to me that was me breaking through silently, you know, like I'm on Kiss FM early back in the days.
Because Red Alert actually asked you to fill in for him, right?
Exactly. That's my guy.
dope.
So think about that. Like one of the first Latinos to kind of like really be, you know, to do his thing on Kiss FM radio, you know, and then, you know, to get a gig every week, you know, doing the Freestyle Friday battles with 106 in Park alongside AJ and Free. You know, I created these platforms for all these people. So it was kind of like me breaking down the doors, like, yo, we here.
Most definitely.
So anyway, that's what that is. And so for Camilo just to be officially announced as the VP, I said, why not now?
Right.
Why not? You know, I felt like, you know, 18 years later, you know, we're still moving. We're still as strong as we were, and if not even stronger now with this new announcement, just putting some new blood into the system.
Well,
and expanding.
Expanding.
You know?
So I just wanted to run down the names
Okay.
of the people that you've added.
Okay.
So we have DJ Bonix.
Right.
B Swift,
Right.
Dre Sinatra,
Right.
So Drewski,
Right.
DJ Kool-Aid,
Right.
the Martinez Brothers,
Right.
DJ Michi,
Yeah.
Mike Dean, Mr. Peter Parker, Sir Manny.
Right. It's crazy, right?
Lineup.
Yeah,
Super dope.
and for me, it's like if you look at the lineup, and if you don't know who these guys are, please, by all means, you can Google them. You could go to the website, theheavyhitterdjs.com. It was time for us to new blood. DJ Sir Manny, straight out of Brooklyn, you know, in my backyard. I'm watching him in the last couple of years. I'm like, damn, this guy's in the club again. Another club, damn, again. And I'm like, yo, who's this kid? And I'm watching him. And, you know, he hit me up about 2 or 3 years ago, and he was just like, I'm waiting.
Stop.
So I'm like, what you waiting for? He said, I'm waiting. I want to be a heavy hitter. I'm waiting for your brand. I'm waiting for you.
So when did you know you were like, you know what? Come on, let's go. Let's do this.
I think
At what
it
point
was
with him.
I think you know, like, to be honest with you, everything happened within the last couple of months.
Okay.
Because I was just on the verge of rebranding, trying to figure out if this thing, because there was a slight little point where I felt like maybe I'm done with this heavy hitter thing.
Really?
Yeah. Because you got to understand something. As popular as it is, it's kind of difficult to maintain.
True.
Think about how, you know, incredibly talented, but at the same time spoiled some of these DJs can be, you know. And I know that speaking from, you know, even from myself, like, you know, we're almost gifted everything. You know, we get free sneakers, we get free clothes, you know, all the music sent to us, we go to free parties, we see screenings of movies and, you know, restaurants. So
y'all are living it up.
People
right.
of just all kinds of culture want us involved and in the mix, literally in the mix, right? In the mix. But and to say that, it's like we're also dealing with different attitudes, egos, time slots, time zones, you know, even financial, you know, status, like where guys are at, you know. So
right.
it can become a little challenging, you know. So the great thing about this thing and the organization was, for me, was like, at this juncture, I need to expand, not just with a different city or a different location, because we had some gaps. I was like, wow, we have no representation in the Midwest, you know, besides Chicago. You know, so for me, getting Peter Parker down and Bonix down was important. Even though Bonix is, you know, literally from Pittsburgh and Peter Parker are from Boston, but they're radio heads in a sense, and they're master geniuses of like programming music and putting mixes together. So they're not letting nobody stop them from that dream and that goal. So they'll move to any market, they'll go to any city just to get the job done. And that's the stuff that I like. I like the people who are willing to leave home if they have to for the job. You know, those are the ones we have to salute. You know, there's people like myself who were born here in the number one marketplace and was lucky enough to be a part of the number one marketplace, because number one marketplace is, no matter what no one says, New York's New York.
Right.
And, you know, people want to see what's happening in New York, and people celebrate and always spend big money in New York. But with that being said, like, I look at those two guys and I was like, damn, you DJ for Wiz Khalifa too? And you're part of Taylor Gang? And like, it's crazy. So when you think about the possible connections of the future, it's like if Wiz does anything, if the heavy hitters do something collabo, maybe heavy hitters and Taylor Gang could do something together. Like, just imagine the possibilities.
Right.
You understand? Then also, like, Peter Parker's a APD at his station. Like, maybe there's some information he could give to some of the DJs who are trying to get on radio. You know, whether it's terrestrial or whether it's satellite or whatever it is. Like, he could educate people, you know, with information that maybe I don't even have. You understand? So,
and I think that's one thing that I really love about the heavy hitters.
Right.
I was just watching the YouTube video from your retreat.
Right.
And it's so dope how you literally have people come and speak to
Right.
the team and let them know
Yeah.
how they can improve and
yeah,
brand themselves.
I get program directors from different stations throughout the country, people who I'm really cool with, and I try to and every year we try to have like a message, right? Like, what's the message? What's the goal? Mm-hmm. And today in 2017, I'm trying to prepare my DJs for the change. Change is already happening. Change is already in full swing. If we are not part of the change, we could be forgotten. So I want to make sure we're not forgotten. I want to make sure we're on top of the game. So it's not just about playing records on the radio or in a nightclub. You know, like, we have to live a certain amount of lifestyle. You know, because back in the days when I first started this thing, it was kind of like, all right, you know what? I'm going to put my man Farris down from Chicago. He's my man. We talk. And I could always get a gauge from him on the phone. Yo, what's popping in your city, man? What's happening in the local clubs? Like, what do the kids want to hear? What's happening? You know, and that information would be given to me. Now, yes, we can get a lot of that stuff right now on our phone, right? But there's still a sense of, like, ambassadorship. Some people still want to be told kind of like what's hot, you know, because think about it. You're on your phone. You might go to SoundCloud. You might go to Apple Music, Tidal, any of these platforms. And they make a bunch of suggestions, but sometimes you just don't know.
Right.
Sometimes
it's just they have too many suggestions.
Right.
You can't filter
it's
through it
too
all.
much going on.
Right.
So if you're a fan of like a DJ, let's say, hey, I like Drewski. I love the kid. I saw him on Love and Hip Hop. He's on Hot 97. He's from Jersey. I like his style, you know. And if you're a fan of him, you might be like, well, let me see what Drewski likes. And that's my thing. See, he's influencing without even trying. And that's what I'm hoping that the heavy hitters could continue to do. Could still push the envelope, influence, and then push the culture, period. And not just hip hop, but the DJ culture. Because to know that they are true fans of the heavy hitters is everything to me. You understand? So it's like, it's those kind of collaborations. And even Mike Dean. Mike Dean's another person that he doesn't even need to be a heavy hitter. Mike Dean's a big producer, artist, musician. He's worked on, you know, projects with Beyonce, Jay-Z, Kanye, Travis Scott, Zero, the Ghetto Boys, Tupac. And if we go way back even to Selena, like, that's amazing to me. You know what I'm saying? So then how do I put him into the fold? Is he my new A&R guy for heavy hitters? Is he gonna clean up and shape things up for potentially some of the DJs in the crew? Is he gonna, you know, or do we just help him with his rollout? You know, there's so many opportunities that are right in front of us just because of, you know, this connection and this brand that we have together called Heavy Hitters. It's crazy.